Hello, hello! My name is Kallista, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. In the last episode, we finished off Soldier's Peak, and then we headed just a little ways down the road to Denerim. You see, we should, at some point in the very near future, be starting the Deep Roads quest line, and that could take us many months. I think it is only fair that we see to Alistair's companion quest first. We are going to help him find his sister. Now, Alistair said that she was somewhere in the market district. We don't really know where, though. Now, we need to be very careful of guards. There's a Knight Commander. There's a Fade the Apprentice. So we can go get that. Excuse me.
They say you can get anything.
Oh.
That's my sister's house. I'm almost sure of it. This is the right address. She could be inside. Could we go and see?
Yes, let's do that. Wouldn't you rather meet her on your own? We don't have time for this, really. No, this is why we're here. Wouldn't you rather meet her on your own?
Do I seem a little nervous? I am. I really don't know what to expect. I'd like you to be there with me if you're willing. Or we could leave, I suppose. We really don't have time to pay a visit, do we? Maybe we should go.
Fine, let's see if she's home. You are such a coward. We don't have time for this, really. Yeah, so I think Artin would remember that Alistair's dream in the Fade, what he wanted more than anything, was a world where he was living with Goldana and all of her children, and they were just one big happy family. And Artin knows that that's something that Alistair has never had, but that he dearly wanted. So I think she can understand why he'd be nervous. Fine, let's see if she's home.
Will she even know who I am? Does she even know I exist? My sister. That sounds very strange. Sister. Oh, now I'm babbling. Maybe we should go. Let's go. Let's just go.
Okay, Alistair. Let's head in.
Very well.
Hello?
Hey, you have linens to wash? I charge 3 bits on a bundle. You won't find better. And don't trust what that Natalia woman tells you either. She's foreign and she'll rob you blind.
I'm not here to have any wash done. My name's Alistair. Well, this may sound sort of strange, but are you Goldana? If so, I suppose I'm your brother.
My what? I am Goldana, yes. How do you know my name? What kind of tomfoolery are you folk up to?
So something of note, I'm pretty sure this is the same voice actress who voices Goldana in the Fade, but Goldana sounds a lot posher, for want of a better word. She's like, Alistair, come and have some tea. Compared to now where she's, apples and pears, I can't really do a Cockney accent. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I can't do a Cockney accent. It's just no. I'm too northern for it. I can't do it. He's telling the truth. Listen to him. Are you sure your information was correct, Alistair? Maybe you two should be left alone. Alistair is clearly really nervous, so I don't think Artin would consider leaving him alone. He's telling the truth. Listen to him. Are you sure your information was correct? Yeah, his information could be a dud. I think just being like, he's telling the truth, listen to him. It sounds kind of... That doesn't sound like something Artin would say. Are you sure your information was correct, Alistair?
Yes, I think so. I'm sure of it, in fact. Look, our mother, she worked as a servant in Redcliffe Castle a long time ago before she died. Do you know about that?
You! I knew it! They told me you was dead. They told me the babe was dead along with mother, but I knew they was lying.
They told you I was dead? Who? Who told you that?
Them's at the castle. I told them the babe was the king's and they said he was dead. Gave me a coin to shut my mouth and sent me on my way. I knew it.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that. The babe didn't die. I'm him. I'm your brother.
For all all the good it does me. You killed Mother, you did, and I've had to scrape by all this time. That coin didn't last long, and when I went back, they ran me off.
I don't think this was a good idea. So is she everything you expected, Alistair? That's hardly Alistair's fault, is it? I don't think this was a good idea. I think Artin is thinking that, but it's not really appropriate to be saying it. 2's joking. Now isn't the time for joking. I think 3 makes the most sense, just given that... excuse me. Considering that Alistair and Artin, ignoring the fact that they're kind of a couple, like, they are really good friends, so I think Artin would jump to his defense and be like, excuse me, what are you saying? That's hardly Alistair's fault, is it?
And who in the Maker's name are you? Some dwarf carrying all his riches, I expect?
Hey, don't speak to her that way. She's my friend and a Grey Warden, just like me.
And a princess!
Oh, I see. A prince and a Grey Warden too. Well, who am I to think poorly of someone so high and mighty compared to me? I don't know you, boy. Your royal father forced himself on my mother and took her away from me. And what do I got to show for it? Nothing. They tricked me good. I should have told everyone. I got 5 mouths to feed. And unless you can help with that, I got less than no use for you.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Persuade. Goldana, Alistair came here hoping to find his family. You've got some nerve talking to your brother like that. This is your family, perhaps you can help them out. It looks like all she wants is your money. Oh. Oh, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Artin is super family oriented. She was taught to put family first. I don't think number 2, you've got some nerve talking to your brother like that. Because given how she and Trian interacted, like Trian, again, Artin has a backstory. There's all of this history in my brain that her and Trian had. Like, I imagine Trian called her, like, you know, like, oh, you're breeding stock, you're breeding ready. Like, he said some very derogatory things to her over the course of her life. So, in Artin's mind, she's like, oh, Alistair's getting off quite light. This isn't too bad. So I don't think she'd be like, you've got some nerve talking to him like that. This is your family. Perhaps you can help them out. It looks like all she wants is your money. Here's what's getting me. Artin is very, very family focused. At the same time, I think she does want to protect Alistair's best interests. This woman really only seems to care about the fact that he has money. Oh, God. We're fighting a blight, so we need all the money we can get, but Artin is family-oriented. Oh, okay. Goldana, Alistair came here hoping to find his family.
Well, he found it. And what good is that to me? None, that's what. Unless he can see to it that his family lives as it should.
I suppose maybe I could give her some money for my nieces and nephews. 15 sovereigns, maybe? Would you let me give her that?
Yes, go ahead if you like. If you must, she'd better be grateful. What? Are you joking? Not yet. Oh, God. Artin's biting her lip. This woman is clearly scamming Alistair. At the same time, as far as Artin is aware, this is Alistair's half-sister. And he wants a connection with... Oh, God, I feel terrible. I feel terrible, because she's going to have him on the hook for, like, ever. Oh, God. Artin's family-oriented, though. Yes, go ahead if you like.
Then here, Goldana, take this money. I know it's not much, but...
You, a prince, marching in here with your fancy armor and such, and this is all you got to offer? You must think I'm very stupid.
No, wait, I don't think that at all. I want to help, if I can.
You want to help? You go to whatever high and mighty folks you run with, and you tell them you've got nephews and nieces that aren't living as they've a right to. You do that!
This is the family you were searching for, Alistair. It looks like all she wants is your money. Let's go, Alistair. There's nothing for you. Yeah, it's very obvious that her only interest in Alistair is for monetary gain. It looks like all she wants is your money.
Yes, it really seems that way, doesn't it? I wasn't expecting my sister to be so... I'm starting to wonder why I came.
I don't know why you came either, or what you expected to find. But it isn't here. Now get out of my house, the both of you.
Let's leave now. Someone ought to cut out that tongue of yours. Are you going to let her talk like that? This was about... No, just... Artin would get him out. She'd be like, go, I'm pushing you out. Let's leave. Now.
I agree. Let's get out of here.
Did she take the money?
Well, that was not what I expected, to put it lightly. I'm sorry I gave her any money at all. This is the family I've been wondering about all my life? That gold-digging harridan? I can't believe it. I guess I was expecting her to accept me without question. Isn't that what family is supposed to do? I feel like a complete idiot.
I don't know what to say. I'm sorry it turned out like that. Everyone is out for themselves. You should learn that. You don't need her. You have others who care for you. That's how it goes. We should really get underway. You're an idiot. How naive can you get? So... some of my other characters, again, equally family-oriented, would agree with Alistair that family accepts you without question because that's the kind of family they had. Like my city elf, for example, my Tabris, she would agree with Alistair's statement that family is supposed to accept you no matter what. Artin doesn't, because again, dwarven politics, she had such a rocky relationship with Qwinn, Balin betrayed her. So, as much as she is family-oriented, she acknowledges that family can be a very treacherous thing. At the same time, I don't think she would go so far as calling him an idiot. Everyone is out for themselves, you should learn that. So if you want to harden Alistair, choose option 2. But I don't think Artin would say that. I think that... one, I'm not entirely sure if Artin believes that everyone is out for themselves. That's why I'm kind of like, I don't know if she'd ever say that. But also, Alistair is feeling... He's feeling really stupid, he's feeling really low. And I think her main... just because of how she feels about him, she'd be trying to build him up rather than be like, you should learn that everyone's out for themselves, you can't trust anyone. So that's why I'm going with option 3. You don't need her. You have others who care for you.
Such as? The only person who ever cared about me was Duncan, and he's gone.
I don't know what to say. I'm sorry it turned out like this. I care about you. You have friends, Alistair. I'm one of them. I'm sure that's not true. Yeah, Artin cares about Alistair very much so. I care... excuse me, I think my American accent just went, nah, can't be arsed. I care about you.
Thank you. I'm glad you came with me. Let's just go. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Oh, she did take our money! I mean, we've still got like 267, but damn! God damn it. No, So, as I mentioned, we really just came here to grab Goldana's quest. I still don't think that Artin feels particularly comfortable in Denerim just because, you know, there are city guards and this is Logain's power base. However, Fade the Apprentice is right there. Also, I do notice that name at the back of the screen, but Artin hasn't. So, we want to go in and grab this guy.
What is it? I have work to do.
I have a note here from your master.
What does it say? I knew this would happen. Just when I was starting to get good. Well, thanks, I guess.
But now that Artin is a bit closer, and she's looking, I think her heart would just drop. Like no, that can't be who I think it is. That can't be.
Dwarven crafts. Fine dwarven crafts. Direct from Orzammar. You won't find better.
Old friend!
Dwarven crafts. Fine dwarven... My lady Adukin? Is that really you? I knew you survived. I never stopped believing it. And neither did your father. Before I left for the surface, King Endrin sent for me. It was almost more than I could endure, seeing him so. As if he were long dead and rotten, and now merely an empty husk collapsing in on itself. He could not even rise from his bed, and the room stank of decay. He asked me to give you the shield of Adukin, and this letter.
Did he say anything else? The shield! I had almost forgotten about it. Why would he do that? I'm not sure I want anything from him now. Yeah, I think this... Because this is what we found. In the prologue, we were doing all of this to get the Shield of Adukin to present it to our father. And in all the kind of confusion of like being betrayed and going to prison, I think Artin really did just put it to the back of her mind. And so for Gorim, I know it's not showing this, but I imagine him like reaching below the counter, like he's been keeping this just in case Artin ever made it to Denerim, just in case he ever happened to see her, and he pulls it out and he passes it to her, and her hand is gliding across the metal, and she's just like, oh my god, by the stone, oh, the shield. I had almost forgotten about it.
I have carried them with me since I left Orzammar. As angry as I once was with the king, when I saw him that final time, pitied him. His eyes have haunted me since. If it were possible for a man to die of regret, I think King Endrin did. But we shouldn't dwell on the past. I can hardly tell you how good it is to see you alive.
Yes. Again, that is more evidence, I think, that Balin genuinely didn't have anything to do with Endrin's death. I genuinely believe that Endrin was so grief-stricken and so full of regret that I didn't stand up for my favourite child. I let myself be so fueled by the need to please others and keep up appearances that I let my favourite child be sent into the deep roads to die. And I reckon he just stopped eating. I reckon he just stopped eating and caring for himself and just, you know, chose death. I can't believe I found you here, of all places. And now you can take your place again as my second. Of course I survived. No thanks to you. Number 2 is interesting. But if I may be blunt, Artin has a new second, and that's Alistair. I don't think Alistair realises that, but Artin does view him as her second, which in her terms, in her culture, is a very prestigious position. So I don't necessarily think she'd want Gorm as her second anymore. I can't believe I found you here, of all places.
Aye, and far happier in my exile than I ever expected to be.
I'm glad you're happy. The Gorm I knew hated surface dwarves, so you're a merchant now? Now that we're together, you can join me as a Grey Warden. We don't know the joining ritual, so we can't. Oh. I think she is glad he's happy, but I think she wants... It's... Oh god, I never heard Gorm speak badly about surface dwarves, so I really don't know if he did hate them. So you're a merchant now?
I was injured in my travels here. My leg healed crooked and I will never fight again. And I have a new life now. I'm married into a surface family. My wife is lovely, and her father is the best smith in Denerim. We're expecting our firstborn before the spring.
Gorham Sellock, a merchant. It's hard to believe. Well, when can I meet the lucky girl? I don't really have time for a reunion right now. Yeah, like I said, so I mentioned this before. I set up in the origin story that Artin and Gorham, they weren't romantic, but they had like some flirtation in the past. Like I imagine they had kissed, maybe, but then Qwinn kind of discovered it, and before it could go any further, it was like, it was put to bed, you know, it was like, this is ended, nope, we're going to be keeping a really close eye on you, don't be continuing on with this. So I think there were latent feelings on Gorham's end, but from Artin, it was kind of, my brother has insisted that I cease with this line of behaviour, so I'm going to cease with it. So I don't, from Artin's perspective, I don't think she had any feelings for Gorham. Maybe there's like a sadness of like, oh, what could have been, but like, she really doesn't, like, she feels happy for her friend about all of this. Yeah, I think she'd be interested in meeting his wife. Well, when can I meet the lucky girl?
I would love to introduce you, but you must have more important business than hearing about me.
I don't!
Have a look at my father-in-law's crafts. All fine work, and I'll cut you a discount.
Hey, my friend. I love Gorham. I love him so much. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to sell off the arrows because I don't really need to think about them. These can both go. Wasn't really intending on having a selling spree right now, so I think I'll probably just tag everything, see what he has. Okay. Ooh, sword belt. That's nice. Ooh, Grandmaster Silverite rune. Let's sell that. You know what? I'm gonna pick that up. Because that would be very, very useful. And yeah. There we go. Oh, and win level. Okay, so a letter from King Endrin. Perhaps you will burn this letter unread. For that, I would not blame you. But I would not return to the stone without saying this to you. I have seen what Balin is, and when I saw it, I knew I had been a fool. For only a fool would cut out his own heart and burn it for the sake of appearances. I never believed in your guilt. I allowed you to be exiled because I feared an inquiry into Trian's murder would taint our house with scandal in the eyes of the Dalish-ious and cost our family the throne. But I have saved nothing by this sacrifice. I sent my only child. Oh. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting, because that implies that Trian and Balin aren't Endrin's biological children. Oh. Oh dear. I'm sorry, I'm theorizing. Okay. But I have saved nothing by this sacrifice. I sent my only child into an uncertain exile. Know that whatever you do now, you bear all the honor and pride of House Iduken. A note from the late King Endrin Iduken. Oh, Father! Father, why? Still, this is Could that be the reason why the middle child is the favourite? You're the only biological child of King Endrin. Biological child with his wife, at least. I'm pretty sure that Sandal is also his child with an elven lady. I was gonna say, because it's pretty common for, you know, the kings to have noble hunters, you know, a harem of women that they sleep with. So I could quite easily see, you know, Trian and Balin being the, you know, the products of Endrin and a noble hunter, perhaps, because that wouldn't affect their place in the house. But given how much Endrin, you know, believes in the sake of appearances, perhaps the Queen had affairs that, you know, resulted in Trian and Balin, and the middle child was the only actual child of King Endrin and the Queen, and that's why you were the favourite, because it's like, I know for a fact you're mine, whereas the other two, bit uncertain on that. Oh, that's interesting. That is so interesting. Okay, you get 2 magic, 1 willpower, and you can have staff focus. Excellent. Now, I want to take Alistair into the bar.
I recognize you. From Ostagar. And trust his blood. You're a Grey Warden. Duncan's apprentice. You killed my friend. And good King Kalen. I demand satisfaction, sir.
This is why Artin was like, I don't really want to be hanging around here because I might get recognized. And here we are, being recognized. Satisfaction, persuade, lie. Me, a Grey Warden, you must be mistaken. Loghain's charges against the Warden are false. Intimidate, lower your voice, or I'll silence it permanently. Excuse me, I have to go. So I don't think we want to cause any more focus to be placed on us than is necessary. Satisfaction?
An uncommon traitor deserves no common death. We will meet on the field of honor, and my blade shall see justice done. Meet me in the back alley behind the Nod Noble Tavern. There we will duel.
Okay, thank goodness, thank goodness. Very well, if you insist on dying, you'll get your duel. Persuade, lie, me a Grey Warden, you must be mistaken. I won't fight a misled fool. Loghain's charges against the Grey Wardens are false. Excuse me, I have to go. Artin wouldn't fight this guy. Artin absolutely wouldn't fight this guy, but here's the thing, I don't think she'd lie. Would she lie? Oh god, okay, my worry is that if we lie to him, we're not a Grey Warden, he could very well just go off and tell the guards and be like, there's a Grey Warden over there. So that's... I think she'd rather debate this guy. Loghain's charges against the Wardens are false.
So you would compound slander on top of treason? You dare smear Terran Loghain's word?
Persuade, use your wits. The Wardens would never help the Darkspawn. Persuade, if you're wrong, you'd be killing an innocent. Excuse me, I have to go. Yeah. Like, make him think, and then he'll wander off and hopefully not tell the guards. Rather than just being like, oh, I'm not a Grey Warden, I'm not Artin, I'm someone else. Because he very well might go home and think about it and then be like, hang on a minute, no, I'm sure of it. Use your wits. The Wardens would never help the Darkspawn.
I do not like your tone, sir. But you may be right. I may regret this, but I cannot duel someone who may be guiltless. Leave, Warden. If I find proof, we will meet again.
Ooh, that was close. That's not the last apprentice. Yeah, I want to go into the tavern. This isn't for any quest purposes. This is purely for RP reasons. I think that, Alistair has just had,
There is no fool like a drunken fool. So Mother once told me, and 'tis still true.
Yeah, this is all for RP purposes. I was going to have, I was going to disband everyone aside from Alistair and Artin. Basically, she's taking him to the bar, she's getting him some drinks, she's saying, how are you feeling now? So, politics of Ferelden. To our neighbours, Ferelden seems utterly chaotic. Unlike other monarchies, power does not descend from our throne. Rather, it rises from the support of the freeholders. Each freehold chooses the ban or Arl to whom it pays allegiance. Typically, this choice is based on proximity of the freehold to the Lord's castle, as it's worthless to pay for the upkeep of soldiers who will arrive at your land too late to defend it. For the most part, each generation of freeholders casts its lot with the same ban as their fathers did. But things can and do change. No formal oaths are sworn, and it is not unheard of, especially in the prickly central Bannorn, for bands to court freeholders away from their neighbours, a practice which inevitably begats feuds that last for ages. Tairns arose from amongst the bands, war leaders who, in antiquity, had grown powerful enough to move other bands to swear fealty to them. There were many Tairns in the days before King Kellen had, but he succeeded in whittling them down to only 2, Qwinn in the south and Highever in the north. These Tairns still hold the oaths of the bands and Arls who they may call upon in the event of war or disaster. And similarly, the Tairns still hold responsibility for defending those sworn to them. The Arls were established, my time is about to go off, the Arls were established by the Tairns, given command of strategic fortresses that could not be overseen by the Tairns themselves. Unlike the Tairns, the Arls have no bands sworn to them, and are similarly somewhat more prestigious than bands. The king is, in essence, the most powerful of the Tairns. Although Denerim was originally the Tairnia of the king, it has since been reduced to an Arling, as the king's domain is now all of Ferelden. But even the king's power must come from the bands. Nowhere is this more evident than during the Landsmeet, an annual council for which all the nobles of Ferelden gather, held for almost 3,000 years, except odd interruptions during blights and invasions. The sight of a king asking for and working to win the support of lesser men is a source of constant wonder to foreign ambassadors. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. So seeing as I can't disband Morrigan and Wynn, move freely. Morrigan,
Your direction?
go over here, please. Over here, and Wynn, you join her. I'm sure you will have some amazing conversations. Now then, Artin and Alistair, you two can go over here. Alistair, come along. I want a private conversation.
Where shall I head?
Okay.
Look, before we go any further, I want to say something. I appreciate that you brought me to see my sister, and that you were there to talk me down after we left. You're a true friend, and I love you. I just wanted to tell you that.
It's so sweet. We're in this together, Alistair. I love you too. I don't feel the same way, I'm afraid. No, I think Artin does love him. I think she does. I love you too.
Well, now that that's out of the way, something you need, my dear.
My heart! Okay, never mind. Okay, now we can go. I'm happy. We had our moment. All is right in the world. So my timer did go off. So I am going to be a bit over time for this. Landry's still making his way over there, but we can leave now. We can go. Again, hugging the marketplace so that we don't get spotted by guards. So I think I'll leave off at the Denerim Gate, because I do want to head back up to Soldier's Peak. There is still things that we have to do there now that, you know, Levy has had a bit of time to tidy the peak up. Now, before I finish, I want to talk more about Goldana and Alistair's companion quest. Because, as I mentioned, Artin is very family-oriented, and as far as she was aware, Goldana was Alistair's half-sister. Why wouldn't we give Alistair's half-sister 15 sovereigns? But here's the thing, though. Goldana isn't Alistair's half-sister. She is no relation to Alistair, so Alistair has just had to go through that trauma for literally nothing. This lady is no relation to him. And basically, it's revealed who Alistair's mother is in one of the books. And I remember at the time, a lot of people got very upset because they've... Oh god, what's the word? Oh my god, brain. Think. I'm coming up with redacted. That's not the word I'm going for. When they change the canon. In in Dragon Age Origins, it's canon that Goldana is Alistair's half-sister and that their mother was a serving girl from Redcliffe Castle. And then in the book, it turns out that Alistair's mother is an Orlesian elven mage called Fiona. Yes, that Fiona from Inquisition. You all know who I mean. And so a lot of people were very upset that they've changed the canon. However, I want to get into why I believe they haven't changed the canon. Where is Fiona? Hello? Yes, okay. So, because I think that Goldana actually tells us an awful lot. She doesn't realise it, but she tells us an awful lot about the chain of events. If you don't know, as I said, I am going to go over time for this. Effectively, what happened, this is all in one of the books. I can't remember which book it is. It could be The Calling. Is that what it's called? I'll put the title. I'll put the title of the book in question down here. It's by David Gader. And effectively, it's just after the death of Queen Rowan. Kaelin is a little boy. Marek is hella depressed. And a group of Grey Wardens, Genevieve, Bragan, Fiona, and a very young Duncan all arrive in Ferelden. They're the first Grey Wardens to arrive. This was Levi Dryden actually spoke about this at the beginning of the game. This is why Marek let the Grey Wardens in. You know, like why he let them return to Ferelden. It's because he had banged one and made a son with her. Basically, they all go off into the deep roads together. Marek and Fiona have a bit of a tryst, and then at the end of the book, Fiona comes with a little bundle, and it's a baby, and she basically says, I don't want this kid to know that his mother was an elf, because Fiona was, basically, she was a, trigger warning, Fiona was a sex slave in Orlais. She was in the Alien Age. She basically kind of got picked up as a servant and she was abused. And she basically set fire to her abuser, got taken to the Circle, then got picked up by the Grey Wardens. And her elven heritage had been nothing but a source of misery for her. And so she was like, I don't want this kid to know that his mother was an elf. I don't care what you tell him. Just don't tell him that I was an elf. Hands the baby to Marek. Marek is like, Arl of Redcliffe, Eamon, hide this baby. And effectively the reasoning is there are a couple of reasons. One, Marek only had one son. It's always good to have a spare. Two, in Ferelden law, I'm spelling that L-A-W, not L-O-R-E. In Ferelden law, it is illegal for anyone who is elf-blooded to inherit a title. So if it is known that one of your parents was an elf, because in the Dragon Age world, people with an elven parent look human. Basically, elven genetics are, I'm thinking submissive, they're not dominant recessive, there we go. Elven genetics are recessive, so an elf and a dwarf will produce a child that looks like a dwarf. An elf and a human will produce a child that looks like a human. Human and dwarf produces a short human, but like whatever. So if it's known that a human actually has an elven parent, they can't inherit any titles, even the title of king. So Alistair, he's technically not in line for the throne because of his mother. Technically, but no one knows that. Everyone thinks it's a serving maid, so that puts him in line. Also, as I mentioned, Queen Rowan had just died, and Rowan was so beloved by the Ferelden people. So beloved, because she fought in the war to free Ferelden from the Orlesians. She didn't sit in a castle all day being like, I'm a lady, pamper me. She fought on the front lines. And if people knew that, like, she had died like a month ago, and you're sticking your penis in an Orlesian, who would, just a decade ago were enslaving us, an Orlesian, an elf, and a mage, all in one. Oh my, like, people would have rebelled. They would have been, like, trying to lynch Marek. So, again, more reasons to be like, it was a serving girl. It was a serving girl. Now, and again, a lot of people are going to say, but what about Goldana? She has her mother and all of this stuff. That corroborates what Alistair is saying. Yes, because that's what Alistair believes. You're not going to tell someone your mother was an elf, don't tell anyone, because then if you put like a Circle of Truth spell on them, don't think that's an actual spell in Dragon Age, but in D&D terms, if you put a Circle of Truth spell on Alistair, if you never tell him the truth, if you raise him to know this lie, then it's not going to flag up as a lie, because Alistair believes that his mother was a serving maid. If he said that under Circle of Truth, it would come up as true, because that's what he believes. Now, what Goldana actually says that, again, makes me believe that this was always intended, it's here, right here. They told me you was dead. They told me the babe was dead along with mother, but I knew they were lying. And then, them's at the castle. I told them the babe was the king's, and they said he was dead. Gave me a coin to shut my mouth and sent me on my way. I knew it. So something to bear in mind, a lot of what Goldana says is tinged in bitterness, and this happened a very long time ago. What I believe happened here, Goldana hasn't heard from her mother in months. Maybe, I don't know. Let's go with months. And so she goes to Redcliffe because her mother was due to have a baby, so presumably her mother would nurse the baby for a bit, then give it to Goldana to take to Redcliffe to raise with, you know, either Goldana's children or her other siblings. And Goldana arrives at the gates of Redcliffe. There was a maid. There was a serving girl. She was pregnant. She and the baby both did die. That is fact. That is true, I believe. Goldana turns up at the gates, and these are guards. These are your run-of-the-mill guards. They are not trained to tell young women, we're really sorry, but your mam's dead. So they just panic. They're like, oh crap, her mother's dead. What do we tell? Here's a gold coin. We're really sorry, your mum and the baby are both dead. This line about, I told them the babe was the king's, if I may be blunt, I think potentially that was a lie that Goldana's mother told Goldana to stop her from asking questions. It wasn't that the king had had sex with Goldana's mother. It was that probably Goldana's mother didn't really know who the father was. And with her other child asking, who's my baby brother or sister's dad, mum? Who's their dad? Goldana's mum is just, the king. The king, because why not? Because I don't know. So Goldana takes this coin. It's a sympathy coin. It's not to shut her up. And she goes about her business. And then on her way back to Denerim, she hears that the baby survived. And it is the king's. So she returns. And here's the thing. Where is it? That coin didn't last long. And when I went back, they ran me off. They ran her off because what if she wanted to take the baby with her? They're telling everyone that this is her little brother. What if she comes back and is like, as that's my little brother, he should be with his family. I'll take him. And they can't have that. They absolutely cannot have that. So that's why they run her off. And this line, back down here, your royal father forced himself on my mother and took her away from me. That's bitterness. That is purely bitterness. Because, one, how would she know this? She'd be in Denerim, her mother would be in Redcliffe. Bearing in mind the time period this is set, Goldana probably can't read. She probably can't write. So, if she's exchanging letters with her mother, well, one, if you believe that a mother would tell her young daughter, by the way, I'm pregnant and it's 'cause I was raped, I doubt any mother would tell that to their young daughter. That's the kind of thing that you're like, I don't want my kid to be thinking about that. I don't want them to know this. Maybe when they're older, maybe. But for right now, because I imagine Goldana would only be like maybe 10 to 15 years old, maybe. Because she doesn't look that much older than Alistair, and Alistair's only around 20 years old in Origins. So I highly doubt Goldana's mother would tell Goldana that. Two, as I mentioned, Goldana and her mother probably couldn't read or write. So if they were sending letters, Goldana's mother would have to be talking to a Chantry priest. The Chantry priest, upon hearing the accusation that the king forced himself upon me, they're not going to write that down. And even if that one wrote that down, I highly doubt that the priest who's reading it to Goldana would be like, oh crap, I'm just going to tell this, for argument's sake, 13-year-old girl, 15, let's be generous. This 15-year-old girl, I'm not going to tell her what's happened to her mum, because that could be traumatic. So this, I believe, is entirely fabricated. This is, like I said, I believe that this quest is to indicate that it's to tie it in to the books. The people who know what they're looking for to be like, this doesn't really make sense. Now that I am really over time, Jesus, I'm sorry. This quest just, it intrigues me. Based on, again, what we know, what the books confirm, the Goldana quest has always intrigued me, because it's like Alistair suffering for nothing. Okay, so what will we be doing in the next episode? We will be heading back up to Soldier's Peak, because we have some star metal that we need forged. And then after that, I think party camp talks, maybe. And then, hopefully, fingers crossed, we should be getting to the deep roads. I'm very excited for that. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.